I would really like to see some different wrinkles added in the red zone because it's just you have to get better at it. It's really unfortunate where you work so hard to get all the way down the field and then you just stall out and kick field goals. And as great as it is to see Jake Moody show off his leg, he looks like a new Justin Tucker. He looks fantastic. And mind you, I would love my Lions to pick him up. By the way, that's a conversation for another day. Um,
Let's not do
you
that
got it.
right now.
Yeah, I know. Got to get an end zone, baby. So look, overall, guys, today was a great night, long night. Michigan took care of their business. Unfortunate activity after the game, but that we will find out more as time goes on. But hey, smile, guys. Go to sleep happy. We're still in this thing, and we're trending well, guys. We're trending well, and for the most part, it looks like we came out another game pretty healthy. I can't recall anybody leaving the game, which is incredibly, really, really, really important. Uh, on that note, Steve Dace did tweet this out, and I had to agree. Whilst I start running back out there, what was it? What 3 minutes or something to go where Blake Corum was still out there. I thought that was worth noting. Some people was speculating that Jim's trying to help Blake pad his stats a little bit. Just be careful.
Yeah,
When the game's over, wait, take the kid out. Save him.
especially your I don't know any your superstars. I don't really don't know. I was looking for another
Yeah, I mean,
term to call Blake. I'm like, he's your superstar and your bell cow. Like
you know
he's
what,
got it. Like
yeah.
here's the thing. Let's just put it this way. If Blake Corum is out, this offense is totally different.
Oh yeah.
It's totally different. They're gonna do the same things, but having Blake versus Donovan Edwards taking the entire workload, it's going to be different. So yes, I do agree with that. I think the tough part, yeah, you just got to get what I think is Stokes. Like, yeah, listen, man, ball security. Here's the thing: if you put the ball on the freaking ground, you're never gonna play again. I mean,
Oh,
and
such a certain
as a running backs coach,
fumble.
you can say that. Like, you can say that to a kid. Like, listen,
Oh,
son, you've got some superstars playing in front of you. Don't hurt yourself, right? Let's
yeah,
be honest with it. They're already better than you are. You can't be not as talented and fumble the football
yeah,
because they're more talented and they don't fumble. You
yeah,
can't do that, right? Like that's the conversation you need to have.
yeah. I mean, like, and that kid really hasn't got much burn since he fumbled the ball.
Dude.
Like the
Hey
third.
man, it's good. Listen, we don't have like, and that's the thing too. Like, I understand it from Michigan standpoint because think about it from both ways. Number one, okay, we put you in, and literally the first time you got the ball, you fumbled. And
Yeah,
number two is every time I put you in and we run the ball, that is another carry I'm taking away from Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. And those
yeah,
guys are really good and really special.
yeah,
So as a coach, right, I'm not doing my job if I'm legitimately taking the ball out of special guys' hands and putting it into yours. Like
yeah,
and for Stokes, like that, it's not anything to try to bash the kid, but this is reality, man. Like you're gonna have to understand it because guess what? Let's say he makes it to the NFL. Do you think his NFL running backs coach is gonna have any different conversation with him than that? And
absolutely
it
not.
and the thing is too, I'd rather you understand that and have that conversation now before you get to the NFL because sometimes that culture shock of right the Minnesota Vikings running backs coach telling you, listen, son, you're not that good. We can't afford to have the ball not in Dalvin Cook's hands, but we definitely can't afford to not have it in Dalvin Cook's hands and then put it in yours for you to fumble the ball and give it to the
Yeah,
other team,
yeah,
right? So like that's how big boy football works.
yeah. And the overall thing is like he needs to make sure. And I saw. No, we weren't. It's not like we're bashing Stokes. We were just making a point overall about the learning from this that when you are behind some really talented players, in a stacked running backs room, when you get those opportunities, you got to your number one thing is to take care of the football. And so, and hopefully, and he's done well since he learned that, hey, I can't afford to make that mistake. And but the overall thing is, we if we can in situations where it was 29-7, we bled the clock really really well. I would like to get Blake out of there a little bit more, because it only takes one hit, and Blake, you know, he's built in a way that it's hard to get a really good hard hit on him. He's been very very fortunate, and part of it's due to how he works. He takes care of his body. Um, but he's critical because not only look, we have a really good offensive line in Michigan, but Blake, he makes guys missing a phone booth, man, and even not just with his wiggle, like it's hard to bring him down with even getting contact on him off the first hit. He's strong, he's patient, he tends to always fall forward, so he's critical to what we do. And so it's just one of those things, those observations where when we have a game pretty much wrapped up, get the guy off his legs, and let's kind of be a little bit careful here. And along those lines, I didn't like the way that Donovan Edwards ran the football. I thought at times he was a little bit too timid, and trying to probably find the right hole as opposed to hitting the hole hard and then exploding through. At times, it seemed like he was trying to, kind of wait and kind of, I call it the Le'Veon Bell approach, where ironically, who was a former MSU player, where he's more of a patient runner, like he's not getting the handoff and exploding through. He's getting the handoff, kind of watching how the line of scrimmage is aligning and then finding the hole. Well, I think at times, sometimes, son, when you get that ball, just run hard, get the yards, and go forward. And I didn't really like the way I saw him run the football today. They need to address that a little bit.
Yeah, and I think with Antoine's comment, said one mistake shouldn't get you banned from playing. He's already missed 3 games, and I understand that thought process, but also a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, when we saw C.J. Stokes, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be wrong, Donovan Edwards was injured. He was not the number 2 running
Right.
back
He
at
wasn't
that
playing.
point.
Right.
Right? He was on the sideline. He was injured. He was not getting reps, right? So at that point, CJ was the number 2 running back. Well, today, CJ is the number 3 running back. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the point is it may not have the situation may not be that his fumble took him totally off the depth chart. I think it may be he's just the number 3 guy because the number 2 guy, who for a lot of teams would be the number 1 guy, is healthy again and getting carries. So who knows? I guess my point is, had Donovan Edwards not been injured, who knows if we ever would have even seen CJ Stokes to begin with. Like that's what I'll say.
Well,
Like, and that's not a
that's a
shot
good
at him,
question too.
right?
No, no,
They've
yeah,
got 2 special running backs. Like
yeah, yeah,
Blake Corum is special, Donovan Edwards is special. So you know what I mean? He may it. We may not even have seen him if Donovan was healthy.
yeah. I know for sure. I mean, like I said, I think he's a true freshman, if I'm not mistaken. You know, Jaden. A couple of fun notes here. Jalen Davis was there today. He was in attendance, and it's funny. I will harp on something I brought up on a Wednesday show, and I saw, ironically, some other people on Twitter just kind of bringing up what I said was that, you know, if you're a 5-star kid, you go to a game and it's a great quarterback. It's a great atmosphere. Ann Arbor's a pretty nice city. We know the glitz and glamour and the coolness of being in the Michigan Stadium. But when you watch that offense, if you're a kid like Jalen Davis, you're like, for me, if I was him, right, and if I wasn't a Michigan fan, I'm Jalen Davis. Why in the world would I see this offense and be like, you know what, I can succeed here? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, man, like, you get this kid here, and of course we get the win, But it's just like you would like to have seen, JJ kind of do some cool things in the passing game, take a couple shots where you want the kid to visualize himself in that situation. And so it's just an observation. Look, they got the win, great atmosphere, packed house, so it's still a really good visit. I think it's his second visit anyway, but still, it's just an observation.